with only 50 to 60 people. And many of you, those who have come to see, actually 300 to 400 people used to be present. So Dr. Satya Vadlamini also knows that how you do the event, because you bring together the finest leaders of the country in one platform. The COVID-19 pandemic has actually crippled our hands. But who is to be blamed for it? But before I start my presentations, I would like to welcome all of you for this magnificent afternoon, where my entire objective and focus has been to empower you, irrespective of the size of the company, irrespective of the revenues. Somebody who has done a remarkable and trend-setting innovations need to be noticed, recognized, and honored. The theme of this Pharmaceutical Leadership Summit's 2021 edition is about healthcare reforms. We also talk about affordable healthcare, quality medicines, but do they really exist? Look at since independence, since 1947 till date, how many healthcare reforms has been initiated by the successive governments? It is true that we bring out the reforms in paper. It is also true that there is also an intention of the government to do it. It is also true that everything has been written comprehensively, and it is very much understandable that this is what is going to be. But I am very sorry to state, it is in fact unfortunate and ironical that none of the governments since 47 till date has given any significant thrust on those areas which need to be highlighted. I am part of the Ministry of Health and Affairs because I am advising the Health Ministry. But despite that, when I meet in these forums, I do tell them that look, you need to create a platform where everybody you have to listen to all. But the problem with India is that too many players, and there are too many players actually want to create a confusion. And to my mind, the confusions are giving birth to the instability, and these confusions and differences of opinion are actually hampering the progress of the healthcare innovations in the country. What is healthcare innovations? Healthcare innovations is about doing something different. It is not about you mix ibuprofen and paracetamol, you speak about norfloxacin, you do reverse engineering. That is not innovation. Most of the pharma companies are doing it actually. Look at Cipla, look at GlaxoSmithKline, look at Glenmark, look at any pharma company, Dr. Reddy's, Mankind. These are the top 10 pharma companies who are there. But how much money they are spending on R&D? 3 to 4%, barring Dr. Reddy's laboratory and Glenmark to some extent. There are no research and development happening in this country actually. I'm very happy that somebody like Dr. Satya Vadlamini, who is running Murali Krishna Pharma, are spending huge focus on R&D. This is what is the need of the hour. They're talking about NDDS, Novel Drug Delivery Systems. We're talking, these are the regulatory compulsions which need to obey. So the innovation do not come from a field where there are me-too products or me-too formulations. Innovation comes from somewhere where you are really making a difference. India is the third largest country in terms of its volume actually. As we speak, India is actually a $47 trillion industry, and it is expected to grow by around $174 by the year 2025. That will grow definitely, there is no doubt about it. But the main point is that what difference we have made to the patients who are the ultimate beneficiaries of it. We have seen in the COVID-19 time, people who are not getting the medicines. I'm not blaming entirely the Modi government, because the entire healthcare infrastructure all over the country, whether you talk about the UK, you talk about the US, you talk about the Brazil and these countries, they collapsed like house of cards. But I think what Modi could have done it, he couldn't do it. Modi would have actually thought about that this COVID is coming out. He lately realized that this COVID is going in a wildfire actually. Dr. Adar Poonawalla told me, and I want to make it very public to you, in one of the meeting with Dr. Harshvardhan that time, the former health minister, and Modi, Dr. Poonawalla told, look, I cannot produce those kind of vaccines which you require. I need to collaborate with other guys, 3-4 manufacturers, then we can bring it. Modi told, no, we are not going to do it. So they thrust the entire focus on Adar Poonawalla's Covishield Serum Institute, which is an AstraZeneca product. Then the vaccines were not available, long queue, everything happened like a chaos, and there were instability, there were a lot of confusions. People actually suffered like anything. Just look at the essential medicines were not available. India, we are talking about Make in India, we have not produced a single thermometer. Even that thermometer is coming from China. And we are talking about what self-reliant India. We are talking about Atmanirbhar Bharat. What is Atmanirbhar Bharat is all about? Atmanirbhar Bharat is about what you are doing. What you are doing something innovations actually. Can you do Atmanirbhar Bharat in formulations and API market? You cannot do it. Because India is totally dependent on China. We are having a long trade, geographical boundaries. Look at what is happening in Taliban, what is happening in Syria, what is happening in Turkey, what is happening in Yemen and all these countries. Complete instability. Geopolitical structure of the entire world is completely devastated actually. India is not even able to take the platter actually on itself. It was premature for Narendra Modi to tell that we are the vaccine manufacturer of the world and we are going to supply to them. You cannot supply to Bangladesh, Nepal and Sri Lanka, and Indian people cannot get it. It was very premature also for Narendra Modi to tell that India has got the highest infrastructure, we are prepared for everything. I admit in the first wave, nobody knew what it was going about. But in the second wave, then there were a lot of issues came about. He was not at all prepared. What he did actually, poor Dr. Harshvardhan had to give his resignation and he brought in someone. You cannot have all those double standards happening with you. What is the need of the hour? The need of the hour is you have to call the healthcare professionals, you have to call the pharma companies, you have to call the biotechnologists, you have to call the scientists. These babus can't do anything. These babus what do know about the healthcare? They will sit in the table and they will discuss about things, plans are rolled out and it's being given. And in the implementation level, it is not happening. Narendra Modi is definitely a visionary prime minister so far India has produced. But the way the approach has been done, it happened with demonetization, it happened with GST, it happened with so many other measures which couldn't fetch results. Nirmala Sitharaman is clueless what is happening in the financial sector actually. She has apparently told RBI to print more notes to do it. There is an inflation going on. The populations are going up in a bigger way. There are essential commodities, scarcity is there. There are many problems which has crippled India. The fuel prices has gone up. Who is there to listen actually? The same story I have been repeating for the last 20 years, but nobody is listening to it actually. Rahul, the former Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh actually did it, what he could do it, but he was actually being surrounded by those guys who are actually corrupt. So I am in a position to tell you that none of the governments, whether it is Congress, whether it is BJP, whether it is Aam Aadmi Party or others, they couldn't do it. You are going and coming, giving the lecture that you have to maintain the COVID protocols, you have to wear mask, you have to do the social distancing, and in a Bengal rally you are going without mask and you are meeting with the people. Don't you think the COVID spread will not happen? And that time the fuel prices was down because there was a Bengal election. But the 64 inches went away and Mamata Banerjee came out victorious. Then there is a vendetta politics, everything happened. But the fundamental questions what we are discussing about is the healthcare reforms. The reforms are about understanding people's needs. Reforms about understanding the research needs of the pharma company. Why NPPA? Why there are the price control on the essential drugs? Why there are no boost given to the R&D unit? Where are they going to get money? You tell them that banks are going to give you full support. But how many people will agree with me when you go to the banks? Have you been able to succeed with them? You are not. Because there are no laws which is made like this. These people are scared whether they will give you money or not. Then why to make tall promises and big announcement when you are not going to execute? So my limited point is that make promises which is going to happen. You need to give a lot of infrastructure boost, you need to give a lot of monetary funds to the research companies, and you need to give them a lot of money. You know that India lives in villages. 72% of Indian population are in villages. They do not have access to basic health care. We need to give them the health care actually. The PSCs are vacant. None of the doctors are going there. Why they are not going there? They are not going there because they are not being well paid. You have the money to spend a lot of money in the election campaign, but you do not have money to pay to the doctors. Why the doctors are being beaten up actually? They are the people who have given us the support during those times. I am actually proud to tell today at this platform that because of these doctors and paramedical forces that India is sustained today. And these are the people who are actually the real future of India, which Modi has neglected it. Although he comes on television, says that 5 minutes lectures about giving big talks about those people, but nothing he does it in paper actually. So these are the various challenges that India is facing, but I am an optimist. India has a long way to go. India is one of the top destinations as far as the pharmaceutical market is concerned. More than 500 FDA units we are having in India actually. Our regulatory control mechanism is much more stringent than the USA. We do have generic medicine which are much more cheaper than others. We are having a workforce which is much more cheaper than others. India is the future of the world. India will make the difference. It is India that will set the tone for 2022 and 23, and it is India that will bring revolutionary changes in the space of healthcare, provided the government support it. And with that note, I am coming to an end with the hope that government is listening to me, and these are the initiatives that government need to implement to make healthcare much more affordable, and a robust system will be created where the ultimate beneficiary, the patients, will get the medicines at an affordable cost.